Hi class, this is the video lesson to go with homework 24 on multiplying polynomials. In this lesson, in addition to just finding out how to do it, we're going to go over 2 or 3 different methods to try and keep track and make it easier. So you're going to want to watch the different methods and then find the one that works best for you. We're going to start by multiplying monomials. Remember, those are one-term polynomials. And when we do that, you start by multiplying the coefficients. Those are the numbers in front. So 15 times 3 is 45. So your new coefficient comes from multiplying the coefficients. And then what happens here, and we can write it out, we have one x there and then 2 more x's that come from that. So all together we have an x cubed. You end up adding the coefficients. 1 plus 2 is 3 because you have one x there and 2 x's that come from there. In this term we have 3 y's. And in this term, we have 2 y's, so altogether we have a y to the 5th, because there are 5 y's altogether in that expression. So that would be what you get when you multiply the top one. Multiplying the bottom one, -2 times +4 is -8, so that's our new coefficient. And then what do we have? 2 x's from the first and 3 x's from the second. So altogether we have 5 x's. So that would be the answer to the second monomial. If I have a monomial times a polynomial, what I'm going to do is distribute, like we have in the past, that monomial to each and every term using the technique we just did. So 4 times 5 is 20. 5 x's plus 2 more x's is x to the 7th. So that first term is going to be 20x to the 7th. Now this middle term, 4 times -3 is -12. Be careful with your signs. And then I have 5 x's and then one more x, so x to the 6th. And then the last term that we get by distributing 4 times 6 is 24. And I only have the 5 x's from the monomial. There aren't any x's with the 6. So that's going to be your final answer. One method that you may recall, some people remember this, is called FOIL. It actually works when you have 2 binomials, so two-term polynomials that you're working with. FOIL stands for first, outer, inner, and last. So you take the first 2 things and you multiply them. 3 times 4 is 12, and there's an x from each, so that makes 2 x's. That's the first term. The outer term comes from the 2 on the outside of the expression. 3 times 5 is 15, and then there's just 1 x. The inner term is these 2 in the inside. -2 times 4 is -8x. And then the last is the last term in each expression. -2 times 5 is -10. Now we're actually not done here because we have these like terms that need to be combined. So the final answer is 12x squared plus 7x minus 10 because we had to combine those like terms. So that is how the FOIL method works. So I'll do another one here with the FOIL method. We're going to have our first, which is 3 times 2 is 6, and then we have 1x, 2, 3, 4 x's total. First, outer terms, 3x times 5x is 15x squared. Inner is these 2 right here. -4 times 2 is -8x cubed. And then last is the -4, that's -20x. In this case, we actually don't have any like terms, so we are done, and that is our final answer. Sometimes people don't actually FOIL, they're distributed. In this case, they are not binomials, so you can't exactly use FOIL, but people will draw arrows to kind of keep track of the terms. So we're going to do 2x times x squared, that's 2x cubed. And then we're going to do the 2x times 4x. 2 times 4 is 8x squared. And then we'll do the 2x times the negative 7, and we get negative 14x. And then we have a whole nother set of things to distribute. The negative 3 times x squared is negative 3x squared. I like to write it up with like terms, so I know what I'm going to have to combine later. You can just write it on the end if you want. Negative 3 times 4 is negative 12x. And then negative 3 times negative 7 is positive 21. So in this case, FOIL only had 4 terms, but we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 different things that we have to put together. And we're going to go ahead and combine our like terms. This is 2x cubed. 8 minus 3 is 5. Negative 14 and negative 12 is negative 26. X plus 21. So that would be our final answer. So this drawing arrows method is the most like the FOIL, but you need to make sure you're really careful and don't miss any of the terms. Some people like to set this up vertically. This is probably my least favorite method, but it reminds them of old school multiplication. So I'm going to multiply it like this. I'm going to do negative 4 times 1, and then negative 4 times the 5x, and then negative 4 times the 2x squared. So this is the negative 4 times each one of the things in the top row. And then I'm going to take the 3x and do that times everything in the top row. So 3x times 1, 3x times 5x, and then 3x times 2x squared, which is 6x cubed. So 3x, 15x squared, 6x cubed. And then just like you would with old school multiplication, we're going to add down. That's our combining the like terms. So we get a 6x cubed. There was nothing to combine it with. 15 minus 8 is 7x squared. Negative 20 plus 3 is negative 17x, and then a negative 4. One of the methods I actually like the most, which was new to me when I started teaching this class, is to use a grid to keep track of everything. So I'm going to write the first polynomial, x squared, 4x, and negative 2. Those are the terms in the first polynomial. And these are the terms in the second polynomial. And this will help me keep track. So instead of having a bunch of arrows, I just have a square that tells me, what I get when I multiply. So in this first box here, what I'm going to do is multiply x squared times 2x squared. So I get 2x to the 4th. And in this box here, I'm going to do x squared times negative 5x. So I get negative 5x cubed. And in the last box, x squared times 3, I get 3x squared. The second row is going to be 4x times 2x squared. 4 times 2 is 8. And then there were 3 x's, 1 there and 2 up there. 4 times negative 5 is negative 20x squared. And 4 times 3 is 12x. For the last row, I'm multiplying everything by -2. I'm going to get -4x squared. -2 times -5 is +10. And -2 times 3 is -6. So what the grid does is it helps us keep track of all the terms, but we do still have to write out our final polynomial by combining like terms. So I have 2x to the 4th. These are both x cubed terms, so 8 minus 5 is 3x cubed. These are all x squared terms, so I have -4 plus -20 is -24, plus 3 is -21, x squared. These are my x terms, plus 22x minus 6. That's probably the worst case, like a trinomial times a trinomial that you'd have to do, and the grid really helps if you have lots of terms to keep. Those were all the different methods for multiplying. Go ahead and email me if you have any questions. Have a nice day.